Hello, my name's Tom Knight, and I'm stuck at home, just like you guys are. This is my studio. Nobody ever comes in here usually, so you guys are lucky to see. Although I've just noticed that my bin needs emptying, so maybe that's something I can do a little bit later on. But before I do that, I thought I would read you guys one of the stories that I've written. And the first one I'm going to read you is called Good Night, Bad Night. I think you can probably guess which one Good Night is and which one Bad Night is. I wrote this quite a long time ago now, and it was the first picture book I ever wrote. And it was based on, I got the idea from my children, who, I've got two boys, and they could never be good at the same time. If one of them was being good, then the other one would be bad. Or if one of them was being bad, the other one would make up for it by being extra good. And so I got the idea for Good Night, Bad Night. I also, these guys are cousins. I also had lots of cousins when I was little, but I thought that they were better at things than I was, and it used to make me feel a bit sad. And so I wrote a story all about it, and I'm going to read it to you. And after I've read you my stories, I'm going to upload a video where we can do some crafts and some drawings based on the story I've just read. So, this is the first story. This is called Good Night, Bad Night by Tom Knight. And I'll try and show you the pictures as best as I can. The summer was over and it was time to go back to school. Bad Night hated school. The teachers were too strict. The work was too difficult. And all the other kids made fun of him. Wow, you really are a bad night, they said. But this year was going to be different. Bad Night was building a secret weapon. He was going to show everyone what he was really capable of. What's more, Bad Night's cousin was coming to stay. With his help, Bad Night would show the kingdom that he was truly a great knight. But when his cousin arrived, Bad Night quickly realised that he was not what he'd expected. Auntie Isabel, this ham hock is simply divine. Do I detect cloves? Where shall I pop these logs, Uncle Gregory? This was terrible. Bad Night's cousin was good. Ugh. Things were even worse at school. Good Night was top of the class in everything. Maiden rescuing, swordsmanship, archery, and even tapestry making. By the time the final exams came around, Bad Night was officially the worst knight in school. What's more, the worst knight had to face the best knight at the end of term jousting match. And can you guess who the best knight was? The day of the big tournament dawned. Bad Night pulled down his visor and prepared himself for the worst. The worst came very quickly. Good Night had won! The crowd went wild. But Bad Night had spotted something in the sky. Can you see what Bad Night spotted? Shall we find out? It was an enormous dragon, and it was heading straight for Good Night. Suddenly, Bad Night knew exactly what to do. Flapping his arms in the air, he led the dragon away from his cousin. Over here, Big Nose! Bad Night's plan had worked. The dragon was heading straight for him. Using his catapult, Bad Knight fired his brand new troll breath stink bomb straight at the dragon's gaping mouth. Whoosh! Gulp! Kaboom! Pooh! The whole school erupted into cheers as the dragon queasily flew back to where it had come from. Bad Knight had saved the day. He was dubbed Best Knight in the school. Everyone was very proud of Bad Knight, especially Good Knight. The two boys were inseparable for the rest of Good Knight's visit. Together, they figured out new maiden rescuing techniques. They worked on their swordsmanship skills. And they practiced archery together. Bad Knight even started to enjoy tapestry making. And they finally perfected the catapult until it was even better than it was before. Because maybe they really weren't that different after all.